Let's talk a little bit about Sebastian Korda, one of America's finest, two-handed backhand. I said it 3 years ago. I love his potential. Great genes in the family. Both his mom and dad played on the tour. His dad had some of the best timing ever back in the day. His two-handed backhand is a knife through butter, poetry in motion. He takes it right off the bounce. Biomechanically, I've studied all these guys' backhands. He's right up there near the leader in the clubhouse. Let's talk a little bit about what he does. As the ball comes, like all players, they time the split step, okay? As that ball's coming, early preparation's the name of the game. If you're late, you'll never be great. You got to get that shoulder turned right away, okay, to get in position. Notice how he takes the hands back. The hands go back along the pelvis. The hands go back along the pelvis. A lot of kids are taught they put the hands way too high in the preparation phase because they want to get a little bit more energy, more momentum. They have more gravity. And then what they do is they end up making a bubble loop. If you see a lot of the ATP backhands, they're simple, they're compact, they're organized. There's a lot of discipline. So in the preparation phase with Sebastian Korda, look how he takes his hands back. They're along the waist or the pelvis area. Good. You just turn, you take the hands back. It goes all the way back. If you could imagine a clock, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, which 6 being at the back. If you see where his racket is, it's at 6:30. It's a little off center, okay? It's to the outside, but it's all the way back. You got to still have a backswing, but it's on the hitting side of the body, and it's not going to change. Notice the position of the right arm. This is a staple of the ATP backhand. The right arm is straight. The left elbow is bent. Okay, the elbows are away from the body. Okay, you want space before you get space. Okay, many juniors, they have their elbows way too close to the body. They manipulate it and they use their arms. Remember, on the two-handed backhand, and no one does it as good as Sebastian Korda, the body's the car, the racket's the passenger. The body's the car, the racket's the passenger. The body brings the racket. That's why you see a lot of kids growing up, especially girls, you know, their backhands are biomechanically a little more sound because there's less wiggle room, less goes wrong. The two hands keeps you more connected. The problem is when you grab the racket, okay, people have a tendency to use their arms too much. You do want to be loose and free, but that's not what really happens. You look at Korda, the hands go back along the pelvis, right arm straight, left elbow bent all the way back, racket at 6:30. The racket head is above the hands. When the racket head is above the hands, whether you're hitting a golf ball, a baseball, or a two-handed backhand, or even a forehand, when the racket head is above the wrist, from a science point of view, when you pull it, there's a cause and an effect. It's all physics. The racket will flip down and back the other way. There'll be a little flip with the racket head when it hits the slot. But if you watch Korda, always remember the ground is your best friend. Nothing against your cat or dog. The ground is your best friend, okay? You push on the ground pushes back. You drive the legs, turn the hips, and the bigger muscles bring the racket. It's almost like you're guiding the racket through contact, not flipping or slapping or snapping, okay? I tell a lot of kids when you hit the two-handed backhand, if you set the table like Sebastian Korda and you're ready to eat, that left hand, when you bring it through, it's like your hands in the bathtub. Your hands in the bathtub. You want to push the water. Many kids, they do it wrong. They splash the water, okay? You want to pull the racket with your right hand and you push it with the left. And no one does it better than Sebi Korda, okay? You pull with the right, push with the left. If you've set the table like he has, if not, you're not going to do exactly what I'm saying. You push through with the left hand, okay? Then depending on your intention, okay, you might put a little more spin on the ball or you hit it cleaner. Notice the right arm is straight and the left elbow is bent. Notice after he hits the ball, Biomechanically, the arms now change position. The left arm becomes straight and the right arm becomes bent. Now look at the follow through. Not only is the left arm out to the target, depending on where you're trying to hit the ball, his hands, when they go over the shoulder, okay, it's almost like he's kissing his bicep, but look at his hands. Only once in a while does he do the flipper. His hands don't disconnect, okay? This is how Capriati hit her backhand, Mary Pierce hit her backhand. You see the Serbian sniper, okay, Novak Djokovic do the same thing. I use this as a corrective technique that hands should not disconnect. Your left hand coming through the ball is like a rudder. You're guiding it, you're steering it. That way, the bigger muscles are running the show. And back to the preparation phase, you got to turn that shoulder. That's the leader in the clubhouse for any good two-handed backhand. You want to feel a stretch on the right side of the body, but that front shoulder has to be turned. But all this action occurs on the hitting side of the body, okay? A lot of people say, oh, it's smooth as silk. It's a knife through butter. It looks like he's not trying. It's because he's not. The power comes from timing. You don't manipulate the ball. You don't make the ball go. Power comes from timing, and no one does it any better. Loading the system, pulling with the right, pushing through with the left, hitting on the rise. Then, in my opinion, the next American to win a Grand Slam, Sebastian Korda.